Hello and welcome to the channel. We're going to be looking at some of my, well, all of my animation figures in my collection, starting with this guy, Superman. And I used to watch the series back in the day, and this is quite accurate in terms of his comic book and animation look. And I really do love this figure. Now with this body type that Todd McFarlane produced, they're very top heavy with very thin legs, and they are prone to toppling over if you're not sure how to pose them right. But once you figure it out, they're great to pose. And this figure came with the fighting fists that you can see on him now, and some gripping hands, and an iron girder. So you'll be seeing those today. But that's his first pose. There's a bit of movement going on. And behind him, as you know, I'm a big collector of the boxes. I keep them, and I love that animation illustration there. I might recreate that actual pose on camera today, providing it's not too fiddly. So I'm going to give you another pose with his gripping hands on, just to show you what that looks like. So now I've got the gripping hands on, he's able to grip that iron girder, and that's the only accessory that he came with. But I do like him when I've got him posed out with this iron girder. At the moment though, he wasn't posed this way, you'll see that in a minute. But at the end of the day, I like to change it around every now and again. And this figure, at the time, because I've had him about 4 years easily, was retailing around £25. But one day I went into my toy outlet and he was there going for £9.99, and on that day I actually left it, and I regretted it straight away, thinking he's not going to be there tomorrow when I go back. But he was, and I bought him. And ironically, my friend also wanted to buy him and went in the following day to get the figure himself, but I beat him to it. That friend being a fellow collector. Check out Migget's collection and subscribe. But now we're going to see Superman as he's meant to be seen on a flight stand. So we're going to bring that one up next. So here he is on the flight stand, the way we like to see Superman. And when I first got him, I actually did have him in this pose. And he stayed up, he never toppled over. So as I said before, once you find the sweet spot of the figure, and they'll find out the weightiness of that figure. He's quite a heavy figure actually, and he's a big dude. Superman would be a big dude. You can get some nice poses. So I'll get that last pose in now of him in the pose that you see on the box he came in. Well, it didn't turn out the way I wanted, so you'll have to settle for this one. It was, well, tricky and fiddly. I'll just show you the artwork on the box again. I tried to get that pose, and what I tried to do was use that hand there, which is off my Christopher Reeve Superman, because he's got quite a few hands. I thought the peg would fit, but it doesn't. So you're left with this basic pose of him in flight mode. So that's about as much as I'm going to do on him. I'll bring out the next figure. So this is Animation Batman. And the main reason I bought him was because of that unusual cape. And I saw the soft cloth ones and the wide cape ones, but I just like this molded cape. And they're my first go-to choice, molded capes. I just like the artistry of them. But that is him in a kind of combat pose. And I'll bring in his gripping hands so he can show you the weapons that came with the figure. So he's got the gripping hands in, so you can see him holding that batarang. And he's also holding the grappling gun. Now there was one more pose I want to show you. I'm not sure if I'm going to pull it off. It may well turn out to be a bit of a disaster on camera, but I will try it. But this animation character was voiced by Kevin Conroy, and he's no longer with us, and he's sadly missed. He did a hell of a lot for the DC world and for this character which he voiced. And I have the animation series, the entire seasons, and I might start watching them again because it's been a while since I've watched them. But I'm going to try one more pose, actually two more poses, and I'll save hopefully the best till last. So his pose has been opened out more. Not bad. So let's try that last one with him. I don't know if it's going to work, but I'll have a go. This was so fiddly. It's not particularly a brilliant pose, but I wanted to show you him on a flight stand. And it brings in a bit more dynamics. But this isn't the correct flight stand for him, and he is top heavy. So I might go over this again at some point off camera, see if I can come up with some good ones. But let's leave it there before my luck runs out. So now we've got Flash, and I've had him quite a while. He was a cheap purchase, I can't remember how much, but I know it was less than half price. And you can get this figure into some nice running mode styles, but because he's top heavy and he's got them thin legs, you've got to play around with him a bit. But he came with some lightning effects, and that's one of them. But I put him on this diorama because I thought he looked better than the Batman figure that came with this diorama that you have just seen. I'll get a close-up again of the figure. And I've been looking online, and I've been seeing these body types, and I've got it in mind to put together my own version of Justice League with these animation body types. But one of the reasons I put him on this diorama, I'll just show you that, are the lightning effects, which I think suits Flash, as you do see a lot of lightning with this character. So I'll get him into one pose in running mode and move on from this. So I've left the diorama on, and I'll just put him into a basic running pose. Not the best running pose, but you kind of get the gist. And I've actually got him into a pose where he's just got one foot on the stand and the other one lifted off the platform. Now that's tricky, and I didn't want to mess around with that one for too long, so I've just kept it simple. And as I said before, I've been looking online, and if I can pick up an animation Aquaman and an animation Wonder Woman, I can hopefully put together my own version of the Flash, and not forgetting an animation version of Cyborg. I'm not sure if I've seen one of them. Probably I have, but I can't remember. So let's take him off the platform and bring on my last figure of this body type in my collection. So John Stewart is my last one. John Stewart of the Green Lanterns. Another figure I picked up cheap. And I love the style of this figure. Now, I'm not sure if I've got that sort of headset on correctly. I've seen different ways it's been put on online, but this is my way of putting the headset on. And then you can see his powering there. But I'll do one more pose with him without the diorama, because that one was fiddly. So I brought them all back for one last time, and there's John Stewart, Green Lantern, in his new pose, gripping that green construct weapon with both hands. Slightly adjusted the headset, not sure if it's correct, but at the end of the day, just giving you an idea of the posability of this figure and all the rest. And I've looked online, I've seen a few Green Lanterns with the animation body types. Very tempted to get them if the price is right, and if I can sort out the space issue. And there's my animation Batman in his final pose. And I do like that. And if we come across onto the other side, you'll see Flash in the same pose as you saw him before. Nice looking figure. I love the simplicity of him with the dashes of yellow on this figure. But last but not least, Superman on his flight stand. Son of Krypton. So I was quite fortunate price-wise with all these figures. I didn't pay full price for all of them, but I wouldn't have minded paying full price, because when I want something, regardless of price, I will buy it. But that is it for that. And you probably won't see these guys now until the Christmas tour, and they might not be upstairs in my bedroom, which is where I'm filming from now. But at the end of the day, I'll have them in different poses. I might put Superman back on the flight stand. He's only been put on a flight stand for this review, but who knows. So thanks for watching the channel, and I'll see you again next time.